they can just make do living on the outside, living off scraps, dumpster diving and all that kind of stuff.
Metro Vancouver's rat population appears to be on the rise. Garth Silty, a senior wildlife technician with All Green Pest Control, says they've noticed an uptick in calls about the rodents in recent years.
It's been a gradual climb for sure, and I mean, especially this summer, it's really come to a head. The last summer, was kind of one of the first big sparks in the population.
Silty says he believes the increase is largely tied to a restriction on certain kinds of poison. The BC government first banned the widespread use and sale of second-generation rodenticides in July of 2021 and made that permanent earlier this year. Other kinds of poison are still allowed, but Silty says they're less reliable.
Most of the city's rodent control measures are still geared towards rodenticide-only control. They don't have secondary methods of population management in place. They don't have a lot of nesting site reduction in place.
Silty says the warmer weather is also behind the apparent uptick. One scientist says while pest control companies have reported an increase in rats, it's hard to definitively know if their population is up because there is no systemic tracking system in Canada, which is a problem.
Are we seeing an increase in rat population, say, over time and with climate change? That's a really important question. Unclear. A ban on the secondary anticoagulant rodenticides. We can't say whether or not there's been an increase in relation to big policy changes like that.
When it comes to rat control, Byers says we need a more hands-on-deck approach with long-term strategies incorporated into existing policies around housing, construction, and waste management.
Not all rats go into traps. Not all rats eat baits. And so you always have rats that are left behind. It doesn't take long for those populations to rebound. And so it kind of ends up in what we're seeing now. We're sort of in this continuous management cycle where it doesn't seem to be all that effective.
Silty doesn't disagree. He says he'd like to see a citywide approach to rat management. In a statement, the City of Vancouver says it doesn't have a formal rat management plan, but uses an integrated pest management approach. It adds it hasn't seen an increase in rodent issues as a result of the province's ban. As for which areas are the worst when it comes to rats,
Find like a large volume of rat activity out in the Richmond area. Downtown Vancouver, I think, I mean, arguably is the capital of rodents right now. It's definitely gotten pretty interesting here.
In Vancouver, Monika Gul, City News.